This is ShadowQuant Forex Edition, brought to you by AriesLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Friday, June 12, 2026, and this is the New York pre-market. Now, let's get into it. The dollar is holding strong at 1.3378 for cable, with gold up 0.66% at 4,074.12. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14/100, and the VIX is at 19.44. The market is still pricing in a Fed pause, but with the FOMC decision just days away, the pressure is on. Let's start with the scores. Pulse, you called euro-dollar bearish, target 1.1528. The market was flat at 1.1544. Inconclusive. Grid, you called euro-dollar bullish, target 1.1578. Market was flat. Inconclusive. CIPHER, you called euro-sterling bullish, target 0.866. Market was flat. Inconclusive. SPECTER, you called euro-sterling bearish, target 0.89. Market was flat. Inconclusive. Apex, you called euro-sterling bullish, target 0.866. Market was flat. Inconclusive. I called euro-dollar bearish, but the market just stayed flat. I need to refine my approach. Maybe the market is waiting for the FOMC decision.
I thought euro-dollar would break above 1.1578, but it didn't. I'll focus more on the yield curve and how it reacts to Fed signals.
I called euro-sterling bullish, but the market didn't move. I'm going to look more at the CFTC data and how institutional flows are shifting.
I called euro-sterling bearish, but again, flat. I need to look more at the VIX and how it correlates with euro-sterling. It's not just about the pair, but the broader market.
I called euro-sterling bullish, but it didn't move. I'll focus more on the interplay between the dollar and euro and how the FOMC decision might impact that.
Let's set the stage. The dollar is strong, with cable at 1.3378. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14/100, fearful. VIX is at 19.44 within its 5-day range. The Fed is still hawkish, with CPI at 4.17%. The FOMC rate decision is on June 17. Let's start with the news.
The dollar is strong because of the fear and risk-off sentiment. The VIX is not spiking, but the Fear and Greed Index is at 14, so the market is still cautious. The FOMC decision is the big event here.
The Fed's rate hike was meant to stabilize inflation, and the data shows that it's still above target. The yield curve is flat, which suggests the market is not expecting a rate cut yet. The Fed is still hawkish.
Let's talk about cable. It's at 1.3378, up 0.12%.
Cable is holding at 1.3378 and the 5-day high is at 1.3386. If it breaks above that, it could move toward 1.34. But if it fails, it could retest 1.334.
The CFTC data shows that leveraged funds are moderately bullish on cable, but not strongly. The short-term positioning is not overwhelming, so the pair could be vulnerable if the dollar gains strength.
But the dollar is still strong and the VIX is at 19.44. If the dollar continues to hold, cable could face pressure. I'm watching the 1.334 level closely. If it breaks, that's a sign of weakness.
Moving on to euro-dollar. It's at 1.1544, up 0.8%.
The euro is under pressure from the Fed's stance, and the Fear and Greed Index is at 14. The euro is overbought, and the VIX is not spiking, so there's a risk of a pullback.
Euro-dollar is at 1.1544, near the 5-day high of 1.1578. If it breaks above that, it could target 1.159. But if it fails, it could retest 1.152.
The CFTC data shows that leveraged funds are moderately bullish on euro, but not strongly. The flow data is mixed, and the euro is not the most compelling long right now.
I'm not buying the breakout. The euro is overbought and the dollar is still strong. If the EFFOMC decision comes and the Fed signals a pause, the euro could face a correction. I'm watching the 1.152 level.
Now let's look at dollar yen. It's at 160.52, down 0.1%.
Dollar yen is just below 160.58, the 5-day resistance. If it breaks above that, it could move to 160.8, but if it fails, it could retest 160.3.
Leveraged funds are moderately bullish on dollar yen, but not strongly. The flow data is neutral, so the pair could be vulnerable if the dollar weakens.
But the dollar is still strong, and the yen is under pressure. If the EFFOMC signals a pause, dollar-yen could face a correction. I'm watching the 160.3 level closely.
Let's move to gold. It's at 4,074.12, up 0.66%.
Gold is holding above 4,036.4, the 5-day low. If it breaks above 4,078, it could target 4,090, but if it fails, it could retest 4,050.
The gold price is up because of the safe haven demand, but the VIX is not spiking. That suggests the market is not overextending. Gold is still a defensive play.
The CFTC data shows that leveraged funds are bullish on gold, which is consistent with the safe haven demand. But the flow data is not overwhelming, so the price could be vulnerable to a correction.
I agree, but the dollar is still strong and the yen is under pressure. If the dollar weakens, gold could rally further. But if the dollar holds, gold could face a correction.
SPECTER, you pushed back on grid read on euro-dollar. Let's dig into that.
Grid says euro-dollar is near a 5-day high and could break higher. But the data from the CFTC and the yield curve suggest the euro is overbought. The VIX isn't spiking, so the market isn't overextending. I think the euro is vulnerable to a correction.
But the 5-day high is at 1.1578 and the pair is holding. The technicals suggest a breakout. The CFTC data isn't as bearish as you think. The euro is still a strong currency.
I agree with Grid. The CFTC data shows that leveraged funds are moderately bullish on euro, and the technicals support the breakout. The euro is not as overbought as SPECTER thinks.
That's a solid debate. Let's move on.
My 24-hour call. Euro-dollar bearish. Target 1.152 by next session.
My 24-hour call, euro-dollar bearish, target 1.152 by next session.
My 24-hour call, euro-dollar bearish, target 1.15 by next session.
My 24-hour call, euro-dollar bearish, target 1.15 by next session.
My 24-hour call, euro-dollar bearish, target 1.15 by next session.
The consensus is that euro-dollar is bearish, targeting 1.15, but there's a split in the technicals and the CFTC data. Watch the 5-day high and the 1.152 level. The EFFOMC decision is coming, and that could be the catalyst for a move. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Forex Edition. Stay tuned for the New York session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.